Good evening, everyone. Could you please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's town board meeting. We're going to jump around a little bit because we have the honor of dealing with one of our police officers this evening, and we're going to jump there first. And I'll ask Councilwoman Lori Smalley to start us off.
Well, welcome to tonight's town board meeting. It's with great pleasure that I can read this from Chief Paul Oliva. Police Officer Eric Lester, a lifelong town resident, has been a police officer with the town of Mount Pleasant since July of 2021. He was previously a police officer with the City of New York since July of 2011. Officer Lester has distinguished himself as a conscientious and motivated officer, always ready to help the public and his fellow officers. He was selected to assist the Detective Division by filling a vacant position several months ago and has done an outstanding job in this capacity. He has earned a permanent position in the Detective Division. Chief Oliva would respectfully request authorization to appoint Police Officer Eric Lester to the position of Detective Second Grade, effective 10/15/25 at the salary prescribed by the collective bargaining agreement between the town and the Police Benevolent Association. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll do the swearing-in ceremony. Please raise your right hand. The other one. Just repeat after me. I
I,
state your name.
Eric Lester,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of New York,
Constitution of the State of New York,
the rules and bylaws of the town of Mount Pleasant,
the rules and bylaws of the town of Mount Pleasant.
and I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and partially
discharge the duties incumbent upon me
discharge the duties incumbent upon me
as Detective Second Grade
as Detective Second Grade
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
He's got to sign the book and make it official. If I could just invite Samantha up here, Eric's wife, to pin his new badge on him, please. Why do you have that frightened look on your face as you say that? Perfect.
I want to put
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Good luck. Stay safe, man.
Congratulations.
Got lipstick.
All the best. Congratulations.
You want to take some pictures?
Yes.
Sure.
Family picture.
Oh. I can ask her, I can have him do it outside. Yeah, you know, let me do it outside so you guys aren't stuck here. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Give them a couple minutes to move out.
It's incredible if you look out in the hallway and see the support of coworkers for the promoted detective. Really amazing.
Can't think of a better way to start a meeting.
With good news, yes.
Okay, moving on to the public hearings. I would ask our town clerk to read the first one.
Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to consider a proposed local law amending Town Code Section 218-68.1F, Hamlet zoning districts, to establish additional restrictions for transitional parcels in the Valhalla Hamlet zoning district. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held before the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant on the 14th day of October 2025 at 7:00 p.m. for the purpose of considering a proposed local law amending Town Code Section 218-68.1F, Hamlet zoning districts, to preclude certain building types from being built on transitional parcels in the Valhalla Hamlet zoning district, and also establishing front and side yard restrictions as well as building coverage, floor area ratio, and impervious surface regulations on such parcels. Please take further notice. A copy of the proposed local law is available for review in the town clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing upon said proposed local law, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed amendment and also those opposed thereto.
Thank you. Darius, you want to clarify a couple points
Sure.
before we open up?
Yeah, I can do a little bit, just for the public. So this has been on, I think, the fourth public hearing we've had on this. Sort of stems back from the amendment to code for the one parcel that was added to the Valhalla Hamlet zoning district. So looking at this with Pat Cleary, we looked at it, and how can we sort of answer some of the questions and help the neighbors to not have certain commercial uses right near the residential zone. So the thought process initially was to create an FAR, a little minimum FAR, which would reduce the size of buildings. We also looked at the impervious surface. We also looked at the coverage issues. There's a lot of comments on that to essentially make the buildings smaller in those transitional parcels, which is on the map in yellow, which would be near the residential zones adjacent to. We then looked at, again, with some more comments that we thought, why don't we limit some of the uses in those transitional parcels? So that would include limiting general commercial buildings, mixed-use buildings, one-story commercial or civic buildings in those transitional parcels, so it's more residential. What is allowed now there is townhomes would be allowed in multifamily buildings, but they've also included all the setbacks that we proposed earlier. So the plan now is to limit the number of uses in those transitional parcels in that zone, and also make the buildings by the zoning smaller, less intrusive to the neighbors, less coverage, less impervious surface. Now, there is some comments that the impervious surface and coverage of the proposed multifamily building from before actually was less than what we have now, which is 44% versus, I think, 50 and 60%. But what if someone wanted to put complete impervious surfaces everywhere? They could build this huge building. It's probably not going to happen. So those comments were taken into account. I went over this with Pat Cleary. So the proposal is to limit the transitional parcels to less intrusive uses in terms of multifamily housing, not allowing commercial and other issues in those properties and making it smaller. That's the nutshell, which we think is advantageous to the residential zones that are adjacent or across the street.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Anyone wish to speak on this topic is welcome to do so at this time.
Hi, Anthony Pesh. Thank you, Darius. I guess as we're getting further along with this and everyone's getting a little bit more educated, especially myself, so this piece that has been the focus for a couple of months now is titled Transitional Zone versus just Full Hamlet Zone. And everything you shared, which was great, my only comment is it's still a little vague, where there's a lot of uncertainty still as to what is allowed or not allowed to be built there. So yes, things have gotten smaller than the original scope, which was a little much. But my question is, why can't we just make a definition for what is allowed in transitional zones, which is very close to residential zones and further away from the hamlet zone? So we have this transitional zone. Why can't we just come up with a definition of what is allowed instead of it being vague? That's my question.
The town board doesn't control size or scope of the building itself. That's a planning board process. They're given regulations on setbacks and all that and lot coverage, but the actual building itself would be determined more by the planning board, the amount of units. Correct me if I'm wrong, Darius, on
Yeah,
this?
but the uses are spelled out. What can go there in terms of a use? That's your question?
No.
So that sounded like you're not sure what can go there.
Well-
Townhouses can go there and a multifamily building can go there.
Yeah, but how big is the multifamily and how many townhouses?
Well, that's based on the size of the lot.
But if this is, again, a transitional zone, which is a unique other
That's
piece.
still the Valhalla Hamlet zone, and these are all the properties along the residential or adjacent to or across are less dense, meaning you can't build as much as you can down the street.
Right.
Now,
but-
that would depend on how many units you can get, would depend on how big your parcel is. If your parcel is half an acre, it's much smaller than if a parcel's an acre,
Of course.
based on coverage, based on FAR, based on impervious issues, which is standard zoning issues. So I'm not really sure what your question is. What can go there? Where?
Like, in that parcel that has been the
Talking about
concern.
75 North Kensico?
Yes.
That's a different question. We're not just rezoning that parcel. We're rezoning, I think it's 29 parcels, I forget the exact number. But what can go there is what is allowed under the zoning code in terms of townhouse or multifamily. And then you'd have to look at, driveways coming in, impervious issues, sidewalks, other things that would be required, which would be at the planning board level, which Carl was answering.
Right. Okay.
Okay, hope that helps.
Jim Russell from Hawthorne. I would first ask that no vote be taken on this evening so that we could develop and discuss the matters a bit more. I think we should follow what the master plan suggests for transitional zones, and that's 2-family homes. I think that would be acceptable to most folks. I also don't know if we've sent this to the county planning board or to the planning board for the town for their comments. So this is a change from our last, what we did before. So I think I'd be interested in
We did.
knowing that-
The county planning board said they rely on their old comments.
Okay, and as far as the town planning board, I looked at the town planning board's video from the last meeting, and they don't seem to have discussed this particular legislation on these changes. I did send an email, as Mr. Saliano suggested the last time, when I said we could have like group meetings or something. I was told just send an email in, and I attended the work session, and it was mentioned that it was received, but there wasn't much of a discussion of these issues of the smaller, this 44% to 50%, which would not make a real big difference. So I would ask that we have another meeting on this, and I'll also give you these documents here. This is from the town of Greenberg and North Castle, showing their maximum coverage for different areas. It's usually in the area of 30% or less.
We can keep these?
Yes, you can. And for a transitional area, it would be less than that. As it stands right now, going from 70, which is really off the charts, to 50% would have no effect on what had been proposed or was discussed for the 75 North Kensico area. And I don't think it would be good for any other transitional area in the Valhalla Hamlet zoning area. So I hope we can have open discussions with the planner here and move forward in that way. Thank you.
Well, the transitional parcels do require now a front yard setback of 30 feet. It was 0 feet before, so that reduces the size. And the side yards also were 0, now there's a requirement of 30 and a minimum of 15 on each side. So, again, it's bringing the building and everything small.
Michael Marvin, 44 Prospect Ave. When we first started talking, or at least when the town started to come to this, it was probably about 5 months ago or so when this really started making the news. The gentleman that lives next door to 75 Kensico, he went on the record with Darius saying that he wanted his property to be looked at to also be transitioned. I just want to know, has anything come of that? Is that a plan, or?
I think he said something, why not mine, but he
Yeah.
never made the, I thought it was a little sort of sarcastic.
Yeah.
He never made an application to be
Okay.
included in that zone.
Okay. I was just curious, because it's just looking on the map, it just seems like that might be his only play. If, you know, I was being surrounded by 3 sides of my house, you know, that would kill my property value. I could understand him wanting to potentially have that. I just wanted to know if anything came of it, but
Yeah.
if not,
We were curious why he never made a formal request.
Yeah.
It's a lot smaller parcel that he has as compared to the other ones, but
Yeah.
we never received the request, which surprised us a bit.
okay, fair enough. And just real quick, secondly, after reading the whole master plan, I appreciate you saying that you want to be sensitive to light pollution, noise pollution. Little grain of salt with that, just because I'm wakened by that train all night. But anything we can do with the light pollution, especially, goes a long way. Humans were meant to look at the stars, and if this thing's built and I look right on top of it, I don't want to be looking at heavy lights all night. Just wanted to say that. Thank you.
That's a point that would be worthwhile bringing up at a planning board
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
Because the lighting today is a lot different than it used to be. It's just like on a ball field today.
Yeah.
It's very direct.
It's a lot. And I know it's probably not here. I think it's probably more of Westchester County, but at the dam park there, they have these huge LED light screens advertising. It's just like, come on, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But, all right, so I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else like to speak on this topic? No.
Donna Babick, 137 Prospect Avenue, Valhalla. So when you're saying that this property can only build townhouses and multifamily houses, we're talking less than 4 apartments per building? Is that what we're saying?
That would all be determined by square footage and planning board resolution, not,
It's hard to,
this doesn't determine that.
right.
Well, if we're only saying townhouses and multifamily,
Multifamily building, yeah.
right, so if a building has more than 5 apartments, then it's a commercial building. It's not a multifamily building, it's a commercial building. So are we going to allow commercial buildings, or are we just going to allow townhouses and multifamily, which would be under 4 and under? I think that's something we need to clear up so that we can move forward.
It's in the master plan, right?
There's a state code about it. Multifamily is 3 or more dwelling units. And it's not commercial, it's other residential, according to the state.
Yeah, so that excludes mixed use, correct, Arias?
It excludes mixed use.
So that means there won't be any retail on the first floor.
Right.
It'll just be,
I'm looking at the definition too.
I believe it to be more than 3 also, but.
Yeah.
Well, I think having a mixed use, I understand that you're looking at other transitional zoning properties, but, we've really been concentrating on 75 North Kensico. Having mixed-use building at 75 North Kensico makes 0 sense.
It's not allowed.
No.
This will not allow it.
Okay, but it makes 0 sense.
You could do nothing and allow it, because
Right.
right now it's allowed.
Right.
So if you want the board not to pass any law, that
That's
would be
not,
allowed.
you're jumping. I'm asking you, I really would like to know what to expect. Because when I walk out of here and say, oh, we're only having multifamily houses, and then all of a sudden there's an 8-story apartment building going up, that's different than what
We're not
I
allowed
was
8 stories.
expecting. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking what are the limits, what are the perimeters, to just be a little bit more, sure
But the-
of where we're headed.
Just so you understand, the size of the property, you would never get an 8-story building. First of all, we don't allow 8 stories.
I meant 8, not 8-story, 8 apartment buildings.
That'll
as
all be
opposed to 32
that'll all be
apartment
determined by
buildings.
the lot coverage and all that.
There's a definition of multifamily building in 21868.1. It says a residential building containing 3 or more dwelling units that are vertically and horizontally integrated. That's a definition in the Mount Pleasant Code.
Okay, so then we're saying then whatever is being built there will not be more than 3 apartments per buildings that you allow to be built on that property.
A residential building containing 3 or more dwelling units that are vertically and horizontally integrated.
3 or more.
So I guess what I'm trying to ask is, are we gonna cap it? How's that? Can we come to some kind of,
Each property
So what?
that's in
For
the
seven-
transitional
well, let's talk
will
about
be
75.
capped based on the size of the lot and the other issues, setbacks, height, FAR, coverage, impervious surfaces. That's how it's dealt with. What could be there? I haven't done the calculation. I'm not an architect or an engineer, but it's significantly less.
Well, I think that's an important thing to know, like, what could be there? What is
You're saying in terms of units, like how many
Yeah,
units?
like, I'm saying, at first, everybody got upset, there's 32, 34 apartment building thinking about going here. Now we're saying less, and that's great, but I'm trying to figure out, what really are we talking about? Are we talking about 4 2-family houses? Are we talking about 2 4-family houses? What are we talking about? What are we thinking of would be a limit for that parcel, which is very small and very hard to get to? What are we thinking? That's basically, I'd like to have a little bit more solid information.
Well, if you have 1 acre, it's give or take 1 acre there. I think it's 0.97 acres.
It
which
is.
Let's say it's 40,000 square feet, 'cause an acre is about 42,000 square feet. So if the FAR is half, that means you're allowed half of 40,000, give or take, which would be 20,000 square feet building would be the max they're allowed. Now, the question is based on setbacks, based on impervious surface coverage, it's probably less than that. How many units then you could get would depend. But before, I think the size of the building was, it was 34 units, I forget the exact size.
But that was a conceptual idea, wasn't it?
Conceptual plan of 34 units.
Right.
My educated guess is it's probably half that size now. But there's no plan in front of anyone.
Okay, that's,
You have to have an architect, figure out how far it can go, and there's a program, what do you want? Do you need a playground area? Do you need grassy areas, just setbacks? What happened was, it was like this before, and now it's gone like this,
well,
which I think is what neighbors
we
want.
all want, right, but I'm just, like I said, sometimes language can be tricky. You know, you think you're hearing one thing, but it doesn't really necessarily mean that. I'm not an attorney, you know, so you may say things that I don't quite understand, or I think it means something else. So what I really would like is kind of just like a little bit of a clear vision. What do you think would be the top, like, amount of housing that would go in that area? And is there something we can do today or very soon to say, on 75 Kensco, we are going to limit it to this number? Can we do something like that? I think
That's not our rules.
for all of us to be satisfied, we want, you know, a little more solid over there.
Mrs. Babick, I understand what you're asking. However, I think what we need to do is go back to square one. It was a very large building. We listened. We've made changes. We don't have the authority to tell you or to cap it at any number at this time. That'll come when there's actually a solid plan, when the owner of the property hires an engineer or an architect to come in and decide what could feasibly fit there according to what our attorney is saying and what the supervisor is saying. We'd just be reaching for the stars if we told you, and then we'd come back and you would say, but Mrs. Smalley, you said to me there can be only 2, which is, of course, not appropriate. Or I could say there could be 100, which again is not appropriate. So this is not the venue or the time when we can do that. If you continue to follow this through the planning process, then you'll be able to voice your opinion to the planning board. But they actually do the measurements. They actually do the site visits. They'll actually sit down with Pat Cleary. They'll go to Darius Chapazeta if necessary, and then it will come back to the town board. So right now, we can't give you a guarantee. I think you want one, but we can't do that.
The developer could come in and say, I want to put 25 units in. And the planning board could say, okay, we have to respect the setback, the access to the property, the parking, the green space. All these things have to be calculated in. So that 20 units may be 10 by the time you're done. You have to follow all these requirements. And that's the process that the planning board must follow.
Yeah, but this local law was a result of listening to you and realizing that it was too big for that piece of property, and we're trying to be very sensitive towards your requests. And this legislation, with respect to changing the zoning, like Darius said, it took a building that was like that, now it's like that. And all the zoning changes here, they're defined. So that means that not only the planning board has to obey this, the architect, the engineer, the builder, the blueprint right now has been reduced substantially, and what could be built there based on this local law is limited in nature. So we realize what you said to us for the last several months. We've been listening, and we don't want to build something there where we get you upset, where we rock your world, where it affects your property values, where you say this is crazy, should have never happened. So we're trying to make sure to be super careful that we do this successfully. We work with our attorney, we work with you, that we listen properly, and we craft legislation that is limited in nature. So it's going aesthetically fit into the neighborhood and also give the property owner his or her right to build something.
Okay.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
ultimately, it could be a good first
Thank
step,
you.
too. and then we see. See what they propose. Maybe they propose nothing, maybe they take a year, maybe they take 2, we don't know.
But-
Maybe they don't decide they don't wanna build, maybe the current use is good for them.
But also realize, ladies and gentlemen, right now, there's no proposal to build. There's nothing. There's nothing before the planning board, there's nothing before the town board, there's nothing before the zoning board. There's no meetings with the town board, there's no anything, but they have to follow the strict new local law that is a result of you helping us craft it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
We all know this is toxic. So, we got this hamlet zone, you got the transitional zone, and then we decided that this piece of property that's way out different than near the train station, near the creamery, and near all the other businesses. So somehow this got lumped in. And this is really the main concern, not necessarily everything that's a block away from the train station. So I don't understand why this board wants to just keep pushing it off to the planning people. And I get it, they're gonna be involved. But if we shrunk the buildable square footage, make harder setbacks, all the other stuff that would have shrunk the actual building size for that piece of property, that would have made everyone here that keeps coming out about this one piece, your voters, your town members, that would have made everyone happy. Because it's just this one piece that doesn't make sense because it is way out of the way of the town.
It's affecting all that property within the hamlet zone. It's
The
restrict-
transitional parcels are all the ones next to the residential. So it's not just one property, I think it's 29 properties. So someone across the street from, let's see the property, it is, could have done something there 2 years ago, and they didn't, so we said, let me just find the map for you. This map shows, so here, right on Elm Street, or on Madison Avenue, there's kind of large parcels there that someone could have built before a mixed-use building. 3 years ago when it was passed. This project came in, well, with the zoning, and they said, wait a minute, okay, we're allowing that in there too. And then you guys were saying, whoa, 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 whoa. These projects are too big. We don't want that across from the residential zone. So now these parcels are all transitional. So they said, okay, let's not allow that use there. We'll allow townhouses and multifamily only. Get rid of civic, get rid of mixed use, get rid of one-story commercial. They're gone. We don't want those there, right? You guys, we think you don't want those there.
No one would put a storefront in that area.
You never know. Well, now they're not allowed.
But
People would maybe put we're not developers, but, so now that's not allowed. And not only that, the ability to make a larger project that was potentially allowed before is now not allowed. We think that's probably a good thing.
it's definitely a good
let's
thing.
see.
I think
Right,
what
you agree that's a good thing?
it is a good thing. I think everyone wants it just a little bit further to make it a little bit smaller. That's it. That's everyone's concern.
So someone comes in on whatever, I'm making up the address, something Elm Place, whatever's, I can't see the zone, along Broadway, there's some lots there, right? Someone could come in and say, I wanna put a deli underneath, and I wanna put a restaurant, and I wanna put a housing on top. Now they can't do that in these transitional parcels. They can do it down by the train station, but they can't do it there. So that was sort of a step up to the residential. Yeah, you're allowed to do some, townhouses and multifamily, that's it now. Townhouses, I know they're not townhouses next door, but that's probably a use that seems okay. It's residential, it's sort of multifamily-ish. But you want a little smaller, could you make an FAR a 0.4? Potentially, let's see what comes in. If someone decides, whether it's 75 North Kensico or some other address, wants to come in with a building, they come in with this big monstrous thing with 50 units, which they're not gonna be able to do. The lots aren't that big. We can look at it again, the zoning, and say, wait a minute, maybe the FAR should be 0.2 there, who knows? But we wanna see what happens.
So at that point, is it too late?
No. Well, it wasn't too late here. These guys wanted to rezone 75 North Kensico, we did, the board did. Then we took a step back and said, well, we heard you. And you said, okay, these uses are not allowed, this building size is not allowed, these setbacks are now required, so what does that do? That's zoning tools to make things smaller.
Right.
We don't know what
Which is-
75 North Kensico could come in a year and say, I want 10 townhouses. Maybe it's a good project. We'll look at it. It'll go to the planning board. You'll be aware of it, and we'll say that you will be noticed now. You'll have, and everyone will come into the planning board and say, I like the project or I don't like the project. If they don't like the project, the town board will be aware, and we'll look at the zoning. Maybe the zoning isn't right there. It happens in every location too. Especially it could happen in the hamlet of Hawthorne, Thornwood. So this is a tool they're using to make the projects in these 29 parcels smaller because they're near residential.
And this one particular parcel, there's not gonna be an access to the back road, right?
That'll be something that'll be looked at the planning board level. Probably not. There may be, I know the initial plan had a emergency access for fire. The main access was gonna come off of North Kensico, not on the backside. That was their initial, conceptual plan. I would doubt that they would have that be but that's a planning issue. The property does back up on that road, which I think is
Tight.
Cleveland Street?
Yeah,
Yes.
very tight,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know fire looked at it and was thinking about an emergency access, but it would probably be smart from a planning side to have it come up on North Kensico as the main ingress and egress with a fire emergency access in the back in case. But that's what they're making it small.
That is, correct me if I'm wrong, we have to be careful not to zone a property to make it useless for a property owner. Because that could be challenged,
Sure,
and then the
It's a
judge will
balance.
determine what will go there.
it's a balance.
Just for a point of clarification, going from 70 to 50% will not make the property as it was submitted any smaller. Actually, if we look at the way it was submitted, it said, Mr. Amakuchi had said, it is at 40% now. At 50%, which is higher than 40%, it would actually accommodate 42 units if they were the same proportion. So if we really want to have an effect on this property and the other transitional properties, we shouldn't be at 50%, which is much higher than all the villages and towns of Westchester. They're averaging around between 20 and 40% for coverage. So let's go to 20%. And then in the future, if we think we need to make it higher, we could have another board. So let's change the legislation to 20% coverage. That would have an impact. That would limit the size at 75 North Kensico and at the other transitional areas. Or let's discuss a little more before we vote on it. But if we really want to have an impact, Tom, this alone is not going to shrink the size.
My understanding, Darius,
I
just
just-
a clarification, the setbacks are 30 and 30, the front and the rear.
The front are 30,
That was changed or that was?
changed, it was 0.
Okay, so when the setbacks are changed, it affects the amount of property that can be built.
Right, so the first 30 feet of the property cannot be touched with a building.
So you
Can
have to,
landscaping.
some of your points are very good, but you're now taking consideration the setbacks have increased to 30 feet in the front
And the rear is 32. So
So
your
that
property automatically
limits what you can do.
That would be
So,
minimal, but I think if you really want to have an effect, you have to go to really 20%. And I hope that you don't vote on this evening.
I understand what you're saying, but when, as Mr. Shefazada and Mr. Saliano just said, as I'm looking at the numbers here, with the setbacks, if you were to inflict a 20% FAR on this developer, it
No,
would...
coverage he wants.
The coverage, yeah.
Complicated issue, by the way,
It is
too.
complicated, but it's more than just the percentage, is what I'm trying to say, Mr. Russell. You have to take into consideration what the new setbacks are, the front, the rear, and the side.
Exactly.
And that, in conjunction with the percentage, is the actual amount of property that will be able to be developed. And that's all I can tell you right now, not being an engineer or an architect. But when I look at the numbers clearly, it's a combination of everything. It's not just the percentage. You have to look at setbacks, and that's all the way around the potential
Yes,
building.
yes.
But again, potential.
But 50% is, really would have minimal effect. And one other point is that the signs that were posted, I don't think were updated for this evening's
They were
meeting.
taken down. They were all stolen. We went out there, there was, I think there was 6 or 8, and they were taken down and they're no longer there.
I see. So I'm-
So there was a, I don't know if there's a ring camera that someone has, we can find out who took them. I don't know if you were out there and saw anyone, Mr. Russell.
No.
We'd love to have a affidavit from you of who was taking them.
I think we'd all appreciate the opportunity to have a forum, an information session.
I think
with
that's
the-
what we've been
with
doing
the
here.
planner, with
Yeah,
the
no
planner
problem.
present. I mean, what happens sometimes is, I attended the last work session, and the town attorney presented the results of his discussion with the town planner, and we sort of moved ahead with that decision. I would like for the town planner to be present here, so we could talk back and forth about these
This is
different
not a
percentages.
planning session here.
We discussed
Well,
this
but you
already.
are setting limits here. You're setting a limit, and that's important. That limit, that percentage of coverage is the main point, and to have it at 50% is really too high. If the
Well,
planner were here,
You're welcome to have that opinion, too.
Right.
We think we've looked into this very deeply, and we feel that this is a very restrictive zone. Nothing has been proposed here.
I
Nothing's
realize that.
been proposed for that entire area. To this,
Right.
since we did the master plan, nothing's been proposed there.
Nowhere. In
somebody
any-
could come in, well, it could be brought in, the next day or so, but thank you for
Of course, yeah.
considering to
It
keep
could
this,
snow tonight, too.
Yeah,
and I do hope you'll keep the meeting open.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board on this issue? Be there no speakers, entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Lori.
You guys don't want to keep it open?
The question is if you want to close the public hearing.
Okay, sir.
I'll second.
Second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Tom, you want to oppose this or no?
I'm a no.
No what?
I want to keep the public hearing open.
Okay. Let's do a line vote. Mark? Yes or no to close?
I vote to close.
Okay. Danielle?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Tom's no.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, public hearing to consider a proposed local law amending Town Code 153, peddling and soliciting to create a no-knock registry. We've had a lot of complaints about solicitors going home to home, being very annoying, coming at late hours, weekends. What this law will do is it allows people to register their home as a no-knock home, where you are not allowing people to come to your home. You probably have maybe a sticker we'll make up or something put on your front door, and it will be registered in town that you can no longer go to that house and bother these people. So, anyway, wants to speak on this no-knock is welcome to do so at this time. What's it? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna read the notice really quick, but you can sign in if you need to. Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to consider a proposed local law amending Chapter 153 of the Town Code, peddling and soliciting. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held before the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant on the 14th day of October 2025 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of considering a local law amending Chapter 153, peddling and soliciting within the town to create a no-knock registry, as well as other amendments. Please take further notice, a copy of the proposed local law is available in the town clerk's office for review. Please take further notice that at the public hearing upon said proposed local law, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed amendment and also those opposed thereto.
Thank you.
Love this.
Oh,
When I read it, though, it was a little unclear if you have to have a sign out on your property in addition to signing up to it. Do we have to have a sign on the property?
I believe
you
you'd
do.
have to have it on your front door or something.
Can't you just sign a registry and that database should be available to these companies? I don't want to put a sign on my property about anything.
I think we're doing that also, right?
Yeah, it will be. There'll be a list. I think you can get a little sticker. We're gonna talk to another municipality that did this too, and see how
Yeah.
they administratively did it. But this is, we'll have a, let's see here, we'll have a sticker or sign. So there's a little sticker you can get.
Okay.
To put on, and they have to abide by that.
So when a company
So we'll
comes-
talk
I'm
to
sorry.
the other. It'll be small, it won't be a big sign.
When a company visits the clerk for a permit, they will receive the list in the database as
Okay.
well of who's on the no-knock registry. Whether they appreciate it or cross-reference it, I don't know, but it's, now would be an enforceable law.
I just feel like it should be on the companies themselves to receive that list and know, I shouldn't have to put a sticker on my property
Well-
or a sign.
I
to
would
s-
rather not have any of them in town.
Yeah.
When they come to get the permit, they'll be giving the list, the
Yes.
no-knock list. So when they apply for the permit,
Of that day.
Oh, well,
As of
it's
that
by
day.
explicit instructions, I think you could say that the list is the explicit instruction, you can't do it, and then it's ors. Oral or written, or by posting a sticker or sign, so you don't have to.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's clear. When I first read it, I read it a couple times, it said they will, maybe, you know, the homeowners will do this.
It's belt and suspenders if you
Okay.
wanna do it.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a good point,
But they will
though.
be getting the list, you can't go to this location, whatever.
Love it.
One
Thank you. Love this.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
That's-
Thank you.
I put a no soliciting sign on my front lawn. Came right to the front door. Oh, I didn't see it.
It's a good point, though,
Well, there
that
are fines.
that maybe when they apply for a permit, we should give clear instructions that a resident may or may not have
Right.
the sticker, but if they're on the list, that supersedes the presence of a sticker or sign.
But that could be something on an app that could be clearly defined.
Yep. Good thing.
Anyone else like to talk about the no-knock? I think that was a fairly easy one. If there are no further speakers, I will entertain a motion to close.
so moved.
Motion by Danielle,
Second?
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a public hearing to consider local law amending the zoning code definition under Town Code 218-3, and I will allow Emily to read that notice.
Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to consider a proposed local law amending zoning code definitions under Town Code Section 218-3, enacting Town Code Section 218-20.7, affirmatively prohibiting rumors or borders in the town, as well as removing a reference to rumors or borders in the Town Code, Chapter 218, Attachment 1. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held before the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant on the 14th day of October 2025 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of considering a proposed local law amending the definition of family and adding a definition for rumors or borders to Town Code Section 218-3, creating Town Code Section 218-20.7, affirmatively prohibiting rumors or borders in the town and removing a reference to rumors or borders in Town Code 218 Attachment 1. Please take further notice, a copy of the proposed local law is available for review in the town clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing upon said proposed local law, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed amendment and also those opposed thereto.
Thank you. Darius, are we awaiting response from the planning board on this?
We still are, yeah. There was a meeting at the planning board, they had some questions, some comments. I've been in touch with the planning board chair, and the planning board, secretary and the planner, and I've hopefully responded to their questions. I told them I'm available if I need to be at a meeting or ask their questions. I haven't heard back from them,
Based on that,
but we're waiting still.
I would recommend that we continue this public hearing until we get some clarification from the planning board, but your comments are welcome.
Not many tall people in our town.
No, no, yeah. So, I'm a resident of 71 Cedar Ave in Mount Pleasant.
What's your name? I'm sorry.
Gilles Pugach, sorry. And I've dealt with an issue, just personally. I've waged several complaints about this kind of issue in my neighborhood. So I guess the one thing I wanted clarity on was for the definition of family. It says one of the following: 1, 2, or 3 persons occupying a dwelling unit. Just for clarity, does that just mean 1, 2, or 3 persons? Or are they family? That's something I don't quite follow in the wording.
It's one or 4 or more persons, 4 or more.
Say that again?
Or 4 or more.
Right. So then within this step, so all of the subsequent verbiage then is how a family's defined. So it shall be presumptive evidence that 4 or more persons. I mean, there's just a lot of detail about what a family being defined as 4 or more persons, but anything less than 4.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
this
just.
has been litigated a lot over the last 50 years in the courts, all the way to the Supreme Court, Court of Appeals in New York, and there's an appellate court in Albany that okayed this definition.
So it's 1, 2, or 3 people.
No, or 4 or more that are living together. If you're a traditional family,
No, right, no, I understand, that's what, I'm just saying that what's written here, it's not clear to me that, it's clear that if it's 4 or more, if it's 1, 2, or 3, that's
Bless you.
that's a family.
That's,
Automatic, then if you're 4 or more, you gotta show if there's an
no,
issue.
no, like one individual to, like, and then further in that, then you still have to be related by, you have a child, you're 2 people with a child, or is it 1, 2, or 3 persons? That's what could be any 3 persons, or is it?
Right.
Are you
That's you gotta be, yeah, right.
It can just be 3 people.
It's the functional equivalent of a traditional family, so it's like, consider, I think some have also used the terms housekeeping unit, right?
Okay.
So you can have good friends of yours that are staying with you,
Yeah.
who are up on hard times maybe or something, they move in and they're part of your family unit. You know them.
Okay.
They're not just transient, renting for a week, renting for a month,
Right.
and leaving. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the functional equivalent, traditional family or the functional equivalent of a traditional family.
Okay, thank you. That helps clarify that. Thank you. No, it's okay. Well, I do love this. I think the issue though also is enforcement. I don't know if this is probably not the time or place for that, but just want to at least localize. I mean, I have a situation where at least 5 or 6 people are living across the street from me, and they seem to be able to continue doing that. So I just don't know the way things are enforced or what one can do.
Where are you, sir?
I'm at 71 Cedar Avenue
In Valhalla?
in Mount Pleasant.
The hamlet of Valhalla? Or
No, so does this refer only to the hamlet of Valhalla, this
No,
particular?
no,
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know where, Cedar Street in...
Cedar Avenue, Pleasantville?
Pleasantville.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
That's,
I was being more formal, but yeah, I'm in Pleasantville, New York.
Is it unincorporated part of the town?
yes, Cedar
The
Avenue.
unincorporated part,
Yeah.
yes, so it's Mount Pleasant.
Did you notify the building department?
Yes, several times, sure.
Was there an investigation?
I don't know. I send communications and they don't.
Yeah, prior to this law being passed, there's nothing they could really do.
Okay.
They could visit and make notes, but they can't enforce anything because it's not
There's nothing to
currently a law.
enforce.
They can't
Okay.
enforce this law, it's not passed.
Okay, understood. So I'm going to say I encourage the voting and passing of this law. Thank you very much for the clarification of this law, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Shorter. Dirk Klingner, 75 Cedar Avenue, so we're talking about the same thing. I've lived there for 8.
It's very neighborly of you.
So I'm excited that you're, maybe changing this, but there has been no enforcement of the existing code. There is existing code. Right now, I think there is about 6 people. There were times that there were 10 or 12 people. And And so I'm just concerned, how is enforcement going to happen? Because people I talk to and confirm say, okay, if they meet these things, then they're out. But what they do is they call them and say, next Wednesday, we're going to be inspecting. And so Tuesday, 3 pickup trucks come out, they move out all the mattresses, they move out the beds, they move out the dressers, the inspection happens, and the next morning, they all move back in. And, you know, if it was not like a rooming house, if it was just people kind of long-term, staying a year, it would be a little bit easier, but they block our driveway, and it's never the same person. I'll get a phone number, and a month later, they're gone. I get another phone number, they're gone. So it is really, it's not, I mean, I lived in the flats, and there's, you know, lots of people living in basements, but it's a little bit longer term. This is sometimes people weeks at a time, days at a time, and there's no way to, you know, build a relationship and so I'm hoping there just didn't seem to be enforcement of existing code, so I'm concerned. It's great that you're addressing it, but how is enforcement going to be any different
Thank you for
from
raising that.
existing code?
Sir, can I ask, as you're going up Cedar Avenue, is this a house on the left-hand side that's kind of disheveled? Yes. I'm very, very aware of this. Very aware of this and that property on that block.
Yeah, and it is livable with 6 people, but when it gets to 12 and then they've got partners and boyfriends and girlfriends, you can't even get in and out of our house. They block the bottom. We can't get oil delivery because the trucks can't get in. And this is, you know, I pay a little bit of taxes, and so for 8 years is a long time to not have any movement or anyone really seeming trying to help, except for showing up for these, you know, and I could take pictures if you want when they all move out and move back in, but.
That would help.
That would help, yes.
This is the house, do they have parking spaces lined?
Yeah, it's just like a mini,
Like
you
a
know,
park-
mini mall,
yeah.
just painted lines to try to fit. So, but, you know, and it is maybe 6 or 7 cars, but there's been times where it's 12 cars every night.
So if there's a truck, if something's being blocked, like you're really kind of out of luck.
Right.
They park in front of our
If
mailbox.
you do have pictures, that would be helpful.
I sent in
Because
pictures.
they have the building department, we'll talk to the building department.
Yeah, I sent in pictures at that point when it was 12 people.
Who'd you send them to, you know?
I have emails I can
Okay.
send, but it just, you know.
No, they gotta
frustrating.
enforce it. There is
They
an
said as
existing
long as
code.
there's not a kitchen, there's not, and they took the kitchen out, and we also have, one of the tenants has been knocking on doors and saying, I'm looking for another room where I have gas, because they took away my second kitchen.
There
So
were-
it is a separate, and they're very upset that they don't have another place to cook,
Right, we have
and
to
they're knocking on doors.
into it.
Asking to use your stove?
6 months.
Does the owner live there?
No, the owner, I've never seen in 8 years, I've never seen the owner, it's
Well, we'll talk to the building
dilapidated. I mean, I try to clear the snow sometimes, I've mowed it sometimes to try to.
What's the address again, just for the record?
71.
66, you're 75, so as I'm driving up the
You're
hill,
66.
left side Cedar, that's 66, and you are beyond them or before them?
We're kind of both across, yeah.
You're across, up a little bit. Yes, I know, okay. Okay.
When he comes out, if you were coming out of that driveway, it abuts kind of the very end of their parking.
Right, so sometimes they park there, and with the angles, I can't get the sewage truck in, I can't get
Because
a
you're on,
oil delivery.
you're on septic up there.
Right, so, and that's the other concern that I feel that wasn't listened to, is that we're probably on the same water supply, we're probably, you know, the septic, if that overflows, so it's, you know, it's a house, you maybe expect a family of 4, 5, 6, but 12 permanent residents plus their guests, I feel like it, potential to affect my well, to overflow the sewage, and my, you know, basically when I asked for enforcement, I was just given instructions on how I could do the same thing in my house, as long as I I could make a rooming house, as long as I tell people they have to, you know, have light IKEA mattresses and move it out for the day.
We will
and thing.
talk to the building department tomorrow.
Okay.
66
First thing.
Cedar.
Thank you, sir.
And the fire truck couldn't get out.
Yeah, I know. It's an issue, we will, we'll look into it first.
Anyone else like to address this issue? Like I said before, we're waiting, I'm sorry.
It's actually already, it's just, in addition to the old one that got quoted, but the
As I stated before, we're still awaiting a response from the planning board. So I would suggest we keep this resolution open until we get response from them.
Yes. The public hearing open?
Yes.
Want to adjourn it to the 28th and see if we have a response by then? Is that the right date, 28th?
Is that the closest meeting? Yeah.
Yes.
Darius, you'll follow up with them tomorrow? Planning?
Yeah. I'll email Jim now.
Yes? Yes? No? Yeah?
And can we follow up with Sal Pinelli? and-
building
On
and
this, yeah, absolutely.
Building department,
Tomorrow morning.
yeah. And figure out what's going on over there. Thank you for bringing this to us.
So resolution 37725 will be continued until the 28th.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, moving down to the supervisor's report, authorization to adopt proposed local law amending the building coverage, floor area ratio, and impervious surface requirements for transitional properties within the Valhalla Hamlet District.
Mr. Surveyor, we have an updated secret form too for a neg deck would be included in that authorization.
Need a motion and a second on this, resolution 37825.
I'll move for approval.
Motion by Mark,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to adopt proposed local law amending Town Code, Chapter 153, peddling and soliciting to create no-knock registry.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 38025, we will be awaiting planning board comments, and it will be continued to the 28th of November, October.
October.
Do you need a motion on that?
Do we need a resolution on that?
I don't think so. Do you need one, Emily? No.
To keep the plan, oh, no? Okay.
No, we're not acting.
We're just, yeah.
So,
Okay.
Not acting on the,
Okay.
yeah, just
on the rumors and wars.
creating a new date.
Yeah.
Next item is call for a public hearing for the Second Amendment on building, planning, and zoning fees for the town of Mount Pleasant, Chapter 8, 224. We had approved the schedule of fees a while back. There's been some updates to it. So we can plan on what is the 28th would be a good time for, if they get their numbers together. October 28th will be the next public hearing, will be a public hearing on the building fees. A motion,
Move for approval, please.
motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to accept bond for blasting Kensico Preserve. Let's see. Main drilling and blasting,
Bond is 50,000.
50,000. Is that the permit or the bond?
It's a bond for
Bond.
blasting.
Bond.
50,000.
Okay.
Move for approval, please?
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to accept 2025 New York State Building and Energy Codes. It's an annual thing. They update their codes, and New York State is what we follow.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization for a street closing permit to close Beverly Road at Tuxedo Place. It's for Fran Colucci Skoka on Saturday, October 25th, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Rain date is requested for Sunday, October 26th at the same time.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second?
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
What
Getting dry. Moving on to our investment report, current town rate of interest is 3.50%. At this time, we have business on the floor, not like we didn't have it before, but we have it again. Anyone wish to address the board at this time is welcome to do so. Being there are no speakers rushing up to the mic, we'll move on to our town clerk's report. Emily?
Thank you and good evening, everyone. Town Clerk's Report, Town Board Meeting, October 14th, 2025. Continued public hearing to consider amending the building coverage, floor area ratio, and impervious surface requirements for transitional properties in the Valhalla Hamlet zoning district. Public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 153, peddling and soliciting to create a no-knock registry. And public hearing to consider amending the zoning code definitions, amending the zoning code definitions under Town Code Chapter Section 218-3, enacting Section 218-20.7, prohibiting rumors and borders in the town. Received and filed the 2025 to 2026 School Resource Officer Agreement with Valhalla Union Free School District. Received and filed updated address and tax ID for Sleepy Hollow Country Club Horse Stable, which is now 777A Sleepy Hollow Road. Received and filed the proposed 2026 budget and notice of public hearing for the following fire districts: Hawthorne, Pecanico Hills, Scarborough, and Thornwood. And received and filed 90 residential small claims and 30 commercial cases.
Item 4 will be referred to our town attorney. Moving on to the council reports, Councilman Saliano.
Thank you very much, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My report's the controller memo stated 10/14/2025. The following claims are submitted for town board approval. From the supervisor's office, $800. Receiver of taxes, $1,961.56. From the category of building town hall, $17,703.33. Central data processing, $43,928.37. Off-street parking, $1,000. Central garage, $1,699. From the category of safety inspection, $6,471.70. From parks, $5,760.85. From the category of recreation center, $2,000. Adult programs, $5,570. From the pool, $2,828. From youth day camps, $5,100. From the category of general repairs, $10,341.83. Highway general capital project, $1,147.02. Capital Farm Hill water, $45,692.50. From Kensico Capital Projects, $12,907.60. Special Drainage District, $4,426. From the category of Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, $922.56. From the Joint Water District Fund, $7,517.22. For Mechanical Water District Number 1, $5,456.14. From Kensico Water, $35,169.19. From Trust and Agency Escrow, $9,083. Gifts and donations for youth, $1,000. The grand total, ladies and gentlemen, $228,485.87. I move for approval for the controller's memo, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Terrific. Mr. Supervisor, we have another item for you. It's authorization for budgetary transfers. I'm not going to read them all. These are just simple accounting transfers that are part of business. All the documentation's in the controller's office. I move for approval, please, for these transfers.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I thank you. You have an excellent evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zana.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, fellow board members, residents of Mount Pleasant. My report tonight comes from our Rec and Parks Department. First item is purchase order 70-25-51. The vendor is Center Stage Broadway Sales. These are for a senior adult trip to Radio City. The total cost is $2,800. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Another purchase order from Parks and Rec, purchase order 70-25-52. The vendor is Great Lakes Recreation LLC. These are U.S. shade posts. These are the 10-by-10 shade structures you see up at the pool. We always have to replace some due to damage. Again, these are for 3 of them. Total cost is $16,480, which includes freight. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. My next item is Resolution 389-25. The Mount Pleasant Recreation and Parks Department is seeking approval for the fall 2025 instructor rates. There's an attached list here, as well as the fall program brochure. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And just 2 announcements. This Saturday, October 18th at Broadway Field is the Fun Fall Foliage Festival. That's from 11 to 3 o'clock. Go on down with your family, friends, and kids. The other announcement is the laser tag on October 24th at the Community Center for ages 5 through 8 has a few spots still available. If you're interested, please reach out to the rec department to sign up. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Saraceno.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, residents and fellow board members, and Ms. Clerk. I have one item tonight, Resolution 390-25, out of the Highway Department from the Superintendent of Highways, authorization to accept a surety bond for various required Highway Department-related permits. This relates to the Regency at Kensico Ridge project. This is the new townhouse development that is going up not far from our town pool. You might have seen some of the work commence a few weeks back. Authorization is requested to accept the surety bond for various permits required from the Highway Department for this project in the amount of $1 million. The bond is a definite term that begins on October 1st, 2025 and ends on October 1st, 2027, and may be continued at the option of the the surety provider by a continuation certificate. This bond is currently being held in the comptroller's office. I move for approval.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have. I did want to just make one mention of, as many residents know, there were 2 serious fires that took place in our town last week, and devastating for folks to lose their homes. And I wanted to just give a shout out to our various departments, including one department that I'm a liaison to, the building department, who was on site after hours. Our building inspector, working with the family, working with the demolition contractor. And I think it's rare praise for our building inspector, but he did a phenomenal job. All the first responders, and in addition, the residents and strangers and neighbors that I've seen on Facebook with their outpouring support for these families. It's really what Mount Pleasant is all about. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Smalley.
I have 2 additional items this evening from the Police Department. The first item is purchase order number 30-25-24. All Traffic Solutions Incorporated is the vendor. This is, its description is 1-year renewal for Traffic Suite software, including Premier, Care, tech support from 11/7/25 to 11/7/26 for Speed Trailer number 2. Total cost, $1,500. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is purchase order number 30-25-25. East Coast
you.
Emergency Lighting is the vendor. This is additional rear emergency lighting for police cars, number 63 and 64. The quote is from Rockland County Contract. We kind of partner with different municipalities for the best price we can get. And the total cost here is $1,536.91. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And just to feed off the public service announcement of Mark Saraceno, yes, very grateful for all the residents in town that came to the aid of the families that have been displaced. One additional point of interest, please. For those of us who go to Rose Hill Shopping Center on a routine basis, especially after school, weekend hours, there are many young people on scooters. It's getting dark. They are not lighted. They are running in and out of traffic. Many of the young people are not wearing helmets. This is a plea to parents. Please advise your children on safety, and please keep them off their scooters and their bikes in any shopping center and on any of the roads after dark, especially if they are not lighted and don't wear helmets. We want everyone to be safe in our town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Darius, I don't believe we have anything this evening. Thank you. Our schedule of meetings, our work session is Tuesday, October 21st at 7 p.m. Our next business session, Tuesday, October 28th at 7 p.m. Next item is authorization to reschedule work session from Tuesday, November 4th to Wednesday, November 5th due to Election Day. I need a resolution on that.
So moved, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to reschedule business session from Tuesday, November 11th to Wednesday, November 12th due to Veterans Day. A resolution on that also.
So moved.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. If there be no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Mark. Thank you.
Good night,
Meeting
all.
adjourned.
Good night, everyone.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening. Thank you so much.